Hello, friends. I know that some of you may have missed me. I have been relatively scarce on all kinds of social media, and our channel has in some ways suffered. I have been caught up in some assignments and tasks which limited my presence on my platforms and on our channel. But I am swinging back to work. And what I want to talk about today is Igbo traditions in relation to war. Why do I need to talk about this, or why am I talking about this? People who have followed me since the latest tragedy that has caught the attention of the world, the war in Ukraine started, know that I have felt very bad when I look at this tragedy and remember the ones taking place in Africa, in Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and other places where the poor, the innocents are forced to undergo suffering, not of their making, not undergo suffering because of conflicts that they virtually didn't even know about. But some people did not understand why I was pacifistic. This talk will explain why my views are pacifist and why I'm a pacifist. Your culture rules and directs you. Your output is determined by what your culture has forced you to be. I'm going to talk about what Igbo culture made me to be now. When at the eruption of the currently raging war in Europe, I took a pacifist stand. Some friends who should have asked questions opposed me. I'm not going to get into some of the reasons why they opposed me. I don't stand for Ukraine. I don't stand for Russia. I only stand against war and genocides. I was enraged and bitter with the warmongers in Europe, Nigeria, DRC, and other conflict zones. I am a pacifist because I came from a stock that saw war as inherently evil. We say Ogwadima, war, fighting, are not good, and it became a name. My forebears fought down the will and desire to dominate. By the way, as an ethnic group, compared to other ethnic groups, Igbos are one of the really large ethnic groups in the world. One of the largest ethnic groups in Africa, if not the largest. And until the Igbos took a wrong turn, Igbos were compared to the major powers in Europe in inventiveness, in creativeness, in powerfulness. Henry Kissinger described the Igbos as Western. And when we look at what really makes a society Western, democracy, free press, free markets, Igbos practiced all these before the Greeks dreamed about experimenting. My forebears fought down the will and desire to dominate. They demonstrated that you could be a strong man because you were the champion wrestler and not a fighter. And when they were forced to fight, the rules of war they came up with were futuristic. The rules we came up with were ahead of whatever the world is using now. Because in fact, we stopped the wars from even going on, from even starting. And when they were forced to fight, the rules of war they came up with were futuristic. On the Igbo Sabbath, Nkworu, in my sub-republic Egbema, all fighting must cease. Women must never be attacked during war. If the mother of somebody caused war between two republics, if the republic which its denizen was killed, avenged the person, the war must stop. One life for one life. This is if the republics were not able to settle without going to war. Lastly, my ancestors converted ube, spears, weapons of war, into alo, ritual instruments of peace. After World War I and World War II, the League of Nations and the United Nations should have studied Omenana as it looked for resources to be used to abolish war, or rather as they looked for resources which could be used to abolish war. And since the Second World War came to an end, what has happened? Since the postmodern era, we have been chasing shadows. We didn't chase shadows before. Chinua Achebe rose, became one of the fathers of literature. He didn't get a Nobel, but everybody that got Nobel in literature recognizes him, if not as a teacher, then as a peer. But what happened to us, who are rightly his successors? Many of our colleagues got sucked into Afrocentrism. Some began to invent tales, to fabricate tales about Igbo life 1 billion years ago. We have known a lot of defeats. So some people feel that if they can invent stories that Igbos existed before every other stream of humanity existed, that would mean that Igbos are grand. So, rather than facing the noble task of exposing, sharing Igbo treasures with the world, telling the world, come and look at a society that abrogated war. Come and look at a society that had the tools to make everybody to see that war was not worth the while, or is not worth the while. We went into some of these ventures that I mentioned. And we lost, and the world lost. Well, the present generation is tackling the problem. Among them have come up some people who have decided to share the treasures of the Igbos with the rest of the world. And they have received encouragement, empowerment from who really matters above every other person. And that person is no other person than Chiukwu, the god of the Igbos. On this note, I will stop, but not before telling you to have a restful Shabbat. Thank you.